From the Texas Sports Hall of Fame in beautiful Waco, Texas, we welcome you to the 2024 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Aaron Hardigan here, thrilled to be alongside the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine, Greg Tepper, who actually invited me this year. Yes, believe it or not, this is my first time here.
Yeah, this is, we've done this a couple times. You're welcome. We've partied here before, as everybody's making faces.
People are getting waves and we're seeing all sorts of friendly faces. I love being
But I'm
here.
glad you get to enjoy this, because as a Texas high school football dork, which you are, this is well established, this is like a central event here on the Texas high school football calendar, a celebration of Texas high school football and the greatest to ever do it. We got an unbelievable program ahead, and I'm just thrilled we get to hang out today.
The food smells not bad as well, as we'll be celebrating a number of inductees, including some very specific award winners throughout the night. For now, for a look at the landscape, let's welcome in the third member of our crew, or shall I call her our lady in red tonight, Mallory Hartley, standing by. And I know you feel it, the buzz is so palpable, isn't it?
Hey y'all, I'm actually standing in the midst of all the craziness right now in beautiful Waco, Texas, at the Texas Sports Hall of Fame banquet. We're about to see 7 incredible inductees inducted into the 2024 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. They've all left their mark on the Texas high school football community. You can actually see all the craziness behind me. This room is going to be filled with probably about 300 people here, of all these inductees, their family members, their friends, everyone coming here to celebrate the wonderful 7 2024 Texas high school football inductees. And what the coolest thing is about this building, actually, it's not only home to the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame memorabilia, it's also home to the Southwest Conference Gallery, where they've got a ton of stuff back in the back. Also, the Texas Sports Hall of Fame is here as well. They actually added, Tepper, you'll like this one, they actually added a Texas Rangers World Series cabinet over there. So if you haven't checked that out, it's pretty dang cool. But guys, the excitement and the energy here is just electric. The food looks absolutely incredible. I think there's steak on the dinner docket tonight, so I'm super pumped about that. But man, the energy here is just super, super exciting. We are so pumped to be here tonight. Aaron, back to you.
Yeah, it's a fun evening here, and you and I here at the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, we wandered our way through with the Texas High School Hall of Fame.
We paid our respects to Wax Dave, as we endearingly call the late great Dave Campbell.
Yeah, Wax Dave Campbell there in the Dave Campbell Library. It's a fun evening on store here at the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, inducting a number and just celebrating Texas high school football. It's when you get a taste of Texas high school football in May, that's pretty good. You can't do a whole lot worse than that.
Listen, you're telling me, and again, as I mentioned, among the inductees will be some very specific award winners, like the one we're going to begin with now. It's the Tom Landry Award, the ever coveted. And I can't think, it's presented by the Texas High School Coaches Association, acknowledging outstanding contributions to the game of football by a Texas high school coach. And when they seek award winners, it's through their actions, their life, serving as a positive role model for athletes, credit to the coaching profession. It's everything that this year's award winner embodies, both on and off the field. And I can't think of a better man to receive a big old nod from the fedora himself than Randy Allen, who wears one himself.
Yeah, Randy Allen, of course, a legend there at Highland Park, and what he's been able to do for years and years with the Scots has been unmatched. Turning them into a powerhouse. Of course, he's a guy who's he's a Gordon Wood guy. He's a Brownwood guy. He's got that history there with the Texas High School Football Texas High School Coaches Association. A guy who's well beloved and well respected in Texas high school football circles. The second winningest coach in Texas high school football history is Craig Way. the MC for the evening. What's going on, buddy?
teased
Two of my
earlier.
favorite people here.
Look at the high school scoreboard live reunion.
I know.
As teased earlier, special guests,
I know.
friendly faces. I've missed you. I hear you're hosting today.
Something like that. I'll figure it out as we go along.
That's what he does. It's the Hall of Famer himself, Craig Way.
We'll figure out something. Just wanted to say hi, Pickle.
Craig Way just dropping by. That's great.
We love
Good
Craig.
news.
He might not know he's hosting tonight, but listen, if anyone's going to wing it last minute, it's that Hall of Famer right there.
One more thing about Randy Allen is you talk about guys who understand and appreciate the Texas high school football coaching community. That's a guy who does it the right way, the second winningest coach in Texas high school football history, and a guy who's got enough rings on his finger to...
How about this note that his wife Carolyn mentioned to me earlier? The great Tom Landry left this world for a much greater on January 12th, 2000. That was Randy's birthday.
Oh, wow.
There are no coincidences in this world. As you mentioned, he's fresh off his 25th season as head coach of Highland Park, and coaching for over half a century, and second most wins ever in Texas high school football history, following to Phil Danaher, who retired a couple years ago, which makes Randy Allen the winningest active head coach in the game, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's an incredible testament to his longevity and the standard that he set there at Highland Park, and well deserving of the Tom Landry Award tonight.
No doubt about it. Our next very specific and special award is the Gordon Wood Award. All of these named after some legendary coaches throughout the Lone Star State. The Gordon Wood Award is presented to an especially noteworthy high school football team that displayed good sportsmanship, the ability to overcome challenges, have the support of the community behind it, and achieve success through it. The Gordon Wood Award is named for legendary high school coach Gordon Wood, who won 9 titles. And listen, this year's Gordon Wood Award will go to the Oglesby Tigers, and I can't think of a better program to receive this honor, Tech, because for the first time in school history last year, they punched their ticket to the state football championship game. And while that was impressive, it was how they did it, knocking the team Richmond Springs in the semifinals.
Yes, absolutely. And I think for Oglesby to be honored like this is very appealing. I love that you have a six-man team winning this award. Oglesby at the 1A Division II level, the smallest UIL classification, has been absolutely fantastic. Their run to a state championship game last year. Kyler Fawcett, of course, their outstanding running back leading them there, came up short to the Benjamin Machine in the title game. But what they showed on their way to that state championship game, to make it to the title game for the first time in program history, awfully impressive what they were able to do and what Chef Dixon was able to do over the course of the year. And this has been a build there at Oglesby, not a one-year wonder. And by the way, I'm working on the 2024 Summer Edition of Dave Campbell's
How
Texas
many days
Football.
you got left?
Here's a promise. We think Oglesby's going to be pretty good next year as well. They are hardly a flash in the pan, and I think very deserving of the award.
Yeah, keep in mind, they fell to the #1 ranked defending champion, Benjamin, in the 1A Division II state championship game. And again, it was the way they got there that was so impressive. I have no doubt about it, like you, that they will be back. It was certainly Tiger fever in Coryell County and has been throughout the state of Texas since.
They've been the rise there. And six-man football is often, I think that there's a lot of programs that kind of reside at the top, and it's hard to break through. They found a way to break through, and especially to do it in the way that they did, going through some of the powers that they did, like Richmond Springs in the state semifinals. Awfully impressive what they were able to do.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Listen, so we have our Tom Landry Award recipient, Gordon Wood Award Program recipient being honored here tonight, as well as our 2023 state football champions. Yes, it was last year that the state football championship slate was nothing short of marvelous in terms of storylines. Of the 9 defending champions back on the title stage, 6 repeated, including Duncanville in that rematch in the 6A Division I game. We were calling it Volume 5, of course, with North Shore. But how about this? Both 6A clashes staging the first ever meetings of African-American head coaches in a title game. That was big.
It was a remarkable year of state championships, per usual, and we're, of course, so proud to be a small part of it. Let's run through the state champions as they won them across the state of Texas. We'll start with the Duncanville Panthers, of course, winning the 6A Division I state championship, going back-to-back. Reginald Samples gets his second state championship, and what you saw in a 5th meeting with North Shore was an offensive explosion from Keelan Russell and Caden Durham, really showing off their offense. It was awfully impressive. Of course, then followed up by perhaps the most impressive team of the entire weekend.
No doubt about it. So you had Reg Samples and Willie Gaston facing off in the Division I game. Claude Mathis, Kenny Harrison in that 6A Division II game, where we would see the DeSoto Eagles repeat as well. In fact, worth noting, DeSoto was the only team to defeat Duncanville in the regular season.
DeSoto, in my opinion, the finest pound-for-pound Texas high school football team in 2023, and that's saying something when you're talking about the 6A level. That was the best. I think that's the best high school football team in the nation last year, plain and simple. What you saw from the DeSoto Eagles, they were awfully impressive.
And now to start that Saturday of state championship week, that was normally, that's typically kind of normally the last day where you're kind of dragging, but boy, did the PNG crowd bring that sea of purple.
Let's first talk about 5A Division I state championship, if you wouldn't mind. We'll talk about the Alito Bearcats, who we'll be talking about the Alito Bearcats a lot tonight because of another inductee. But of course, Robbie Jones, first year at the helm, takes them to another state championship, their record 12th state championship. The Texas high school football program of record hard stop. What they've been able to do has been unbelievable, and Hoss Haney leading the way there for the Alito Bearcats.
Their UIL record 12th state title, and as previously mentioned, yes, thank you for saving me on that tip, the PNG Sea of Purple, bringing home its 4th title, its first since 1975. That win by Jeff Joseph and his staff, his team, ended a 48-year drought.
A coaching masterclass, plain and simple, what you saw there from Jeff Joseph and company. That the offensive line was fantastic. They ran the ball well. They played old school defense. P&G, certainly worthy champions in 5A Division II, brought home a state championship there to the Golden Triangle, and I know they're probably still partying down there in Indian country. Awfully impressive from P&G. And by the way, another team that's not going to go away quiet.
And rocking that purple as well, the Anna squad, first ever, in fact, first ever in its first trip to a title game, so they are 1 for 1, not bad.
I mentioned this in previous broadcasts, but when Seth Parr took the job at Anna, from leaving Lubbock Coronado to take over at Anna, I think a lot of us in the Texas high school football world were going, what in the world is he doing going to Anna? He saw the vision, and what you saw was that vision on full display in a dominant performance in a win over Tyler Chapel Hill. Seth Parr and company, absolutely outstanding. They make the move up to 5A next year, but I will tell you what I thought was awesome was DeAndre Williams, their outstanding sophomore quarterback, coming back this year for a junior year. He'll be a lot of fun to watch.
And another one to watch in 4A Division II. How about those Gilmer Buckeyes bringing home the 4th state title for the school and for the program. First since 2014, that was under the leadership of Jeff Traylor. It was the first title for head coach Alan Metzel after going back-to-back runner-up finishes in 2020 and 2021. The coolest part was that Jeff Traylor, his predecessor, was on hand and was perhaps the biggest Buckeye fan in the building.
Oh, he was going nuts. He was going absolutely nuts on the sideline. And I will tell you, it's strange to say this about Gilmer, which is such a pedigreed program, but the most surprising state champion in 2023 last year, simply because they took some losses early on. Quite frankly, they took some ugly losses early on, and some people, maybe some people speaking to you right now, threw dirt on them and thought, okay, there's no way they're going to get past Carthage, there's no way they're going to get past all these big power programs. Well, they found a way. Caden Tennyson and company were absolutely outstanding, and the defense, much maligned throughout the course of the year by yours truly, showed out on the biggest stage of them all and put on a master class against Belleville in that title game. Awfully impressive from the Buckeyes and the best team in 4A division.
I admire that you at least wear it, my friend. In 3A Division I, your 2023 state football champion was Malakoff. Yes, the Tigers bring home their first ever championship in their second trip since 2018. It was like that elusive title they finally captured. That had to feel good.
Yeah, big party out there on Cedar Creek Lake when the Malakoff Tigers bring home the state championship. Thanks in large part to their quarterback, Mike Jones.
Who?
Mike Jones, their quarterback, who was excellent. But they had a number of playmakers out there, and more importantly, their defense stood on its head against a two-time defending champion in Franklin. Just a wildly impressive performance from Jamie Driscoll's ball club, and the Tigers bringing that title home to East Texas.
And in 3 Division II, can we talk about the power that is Gunner? Power isn't even putting it lightly. They went back-to-back programs, 4th since 2016, but my goodness, what Jake Vazell and company have done up there. I don't know what's in the water, but I'm into it if it brings you that sort of success.
It is a powerhouse, what they've got going up there at Gunner. That big blue machine.
There you go.
And they dominated. They were really impressive in their win over Canadian in the semifinals, which we all know is the big thing there. You got to be able to go out there and beat Canadian in that semifinal for, I think, their 8th meeting in the last 9 seasons. Awfully impressive. Walker Overman, their quarterback, that little water bug out there, he's unbelievable. They got Big Cannon Lindbergh on the outside, and the underrated thing year in and year out about these Gunner Tigers is that defense. That defense was absolutely spectacular last year, and of course, spectacular in their state championship win over a game Tidehaven.
Producer Ashley Pickle put it best when it comes to Walker Overman. He's like trying to catch a minnow in a small pond.
Yeah, I remember
Nearly impossible.
getting ready to call the Gunner game when they won in 2022. We were on a call with Jake Fizdale, their head coach, and we asked him about Walker Overman, and he says, quick as a cat and tough as a boot. I remember that very distinctly. Walker Overman certainly is that.
And I wouldn't want it explained any other way. Then brings the 2A Division I state champion that you actually got to sit in the booth and call behind Terry Bussey. First ever title for the Bears. They're 1-for-1 as well on the title stage, and it was great to see Bussey go out his senior campaign with that win.
And for Timpson, a team that suffered a lot of injuries throughout the course of the year, they were down arguably the second and third best players in guys like J.J. Garner not being out there, Vosky Howard not being out there, but they found a way through. I thought their defense was really underappreciated and underrated all year long, and of course, what can you say about Terry Bussey that hasn't already been said a million times? Quite simply, one of the most electrifying players in Texas high school football history, and a guy who it would not be a surprise to see him have his name called up here one day at the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, a Hall of Fame caliber career, what he did there, and just the second junior to win Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year back in 2022.
And it's cool worth noting they met Toller, of course, on the title stage, and it was the first meeting of first-timers at AT&T since Benjamin Lorraine in 6-man a year ago, which was pretty impressive. So in 1A Division I, as we go to those 6-man ranks.
What about 2A Division II first?
2A Division II. Thank you for keeping me on course. Oh my goodness, how am I forgetting one of the winningest head coaches in Texas high school football history, Denny Faithful, and back-to-back, first time back-to-back since 60 and 61 for the program. He now has a pair of rings, one for each grandchild.
And Adam Hill, their star running back linebacker, a moose back there at 2A Division II, just an unbelievable playmaker, what he did for that team. And again, old school football. I thought their lefty quarterback Chip Chambers played fantastic in their title game and played fantastic all year long. And it's hard to play as a champion. It's hard to play with a target on your chest. But that Lions program embraced that, and they wanted to be the hunted. They wanted it, and they thrived in that all the way to another state champion.
I'm doing one more hit, and then I'm
now to the 6-man ranks. And I love kicking off state championship week with 6-man football because it's so unique. It gives people an opportunity to go to AT&T Stadium, see the spectacle that is, and really embrace what makes this game so beautiful. How about Gordon earning its third title first since 1999 in the Division I ranks?
So 6-man folks were telling me going into that game against Westbrook, of course the 2-time defending state champs looking for a three-peat. They said this is either the last chapter of the Westbrook dynasty or the first chapter of the Gordon dynasty. And what you saw was an unbelievable performance from Riley Reed, from Riley Sistala, the playmakers that they had there at Gordon. Absolutely fantastic. I loved the way that they played defense late in that game to close out Westbrook and win that game with defense. And by the way, a lot of those guys are coming back this year. They're going to be the team to beat, especially with these 6-man, in my opinion, the Division I Player of the Year, Riley Reed. He can do a little bit of everything out there and an unbelievable playmaker at the 6-man level.
And listen, that was the first game of the 12 state title games that we, of course, played that week, or at least the champions that we crowned. 1A Division II Benjamin. We had obviously discussed them earlier because Oglesby had fallen to the #1 defending champs. I mean, there is so much to say about what makes them such a juggernaut.
Well, one of them's #1, Grayson Rigdon, 6-man Superman. I've thought about this a lot, putting together the 2024 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. There is an argument to be made that if he stopped right now, he's the greatest 6-man player of all time. If he stopped right now. What does he do for his senior year? Just an unbelievable playmaker. They were much more than just that, too. They've got playmakers all over the field, an unbelievable defense, I think. But make no mistake, that Benjamin is a team that is defined by having the single individual best playmaker in all of 6-man football, and arguably the single individual best playmaker in all of 6-man football history in Grayson Rigdon. And he is now a 3-time state champion, a 4-time state championship game MVP, if that makes sense.
Have you shared that bit of knowledge and wisdom that you have with Coach yet?
Not yet.
Because listen, most are on hand here tonight. That was our 2023 State Football Championship slate there. All champion head coaches will be in attendance here tonight. We're looking forward to celebrating them as well as the inductees into the 2024 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. There will also be a silent auction, so yes, open your hearts and your wallets as we return to the third member of our crew, Mallory Hartley, standing by near the goods.
Yeah, guys, there really is so much going on here to celebrate the 2024 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame inductees. But from what you guys might not know at home from this event is that there's actually a silent auction going on in just one of these back rooms here of the banquet hall where guests can actually go and bid on amazing memorabilia, like this Matthew Stafford helmet that I'm holding right here. Yeah, I had to beg to actually show you guys this helmet. I promised that I would take great care of it. Matthew Stafford actually inducted into the High School Football Hall of Fame last year in 2023. So lots of really cool stuff that guests here at this event can go and bid on. And the coolest part about that is that all those proceeds go to the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. And you can scan that QR code up in the top right-hand corner to donate to the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. And now a word from our good friends at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance.
Whatever it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture, or what you choose to grow, at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
Mallory Hartley, Dave Campbell's Texas Football here at the Texas.
I'm still Aaron Hardigan, and we are, yes, still at the 2024 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It's taking place, of course, at the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. It's not my first time here in this building, but my first time as part of this ceremony, and I can feel the buzz. We're getting to celebrate reigning state champions tonight, and of course, the coveted inductees into this.
Can I just tell you, like, the fun thing for me, and I think you've been doing this too, when we're not broadcasting, and sometimes when we are broadcasting, you just look around, you're like, oh, I know him. Like, I know him, I know her.
And it's been a while, right? You're like,
Yeah.
I haven't seen him since football season, so this is kind of one big reunion as well. I love gathering everyone together. We got some greats in this room. We got some legends. Like, I can feel the power in this room as well.
It's a who's who of Texas high school football here at the 2024 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony presented by friends at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. And it's going to be a fun night. At the top of the hour, we're going to toss this thing over to Craig Way, the MC, the Master of Ceremonies here. He's going to take you through the rest of the evening, and you're going to get to see the event live here. We're just getting you, we're just your pregame entertainment.
Does his resume just kind of like fold?
Yeah, it's like a scroll. You know what I mean?
Looking forward to Craig hosting this thing as we give you a little sneak peek of each inductee that you can expect to hear from tonight. We'll begin with the 1969 era and before. In that era, we will be celebrating Riley Odoms of West Oso.
Could we start with our Dave Campbell contributor of the game?
Oh yes,
Anyway?
yes, of course.
Sorry.
Listen, if just joining us
Pickle
on the
gave me a
show,
rundown, and
we
she gets
have
real
been-
mad if we don't.
We have been rusty. We have not done this in a while, but we're human, and we're just so happy you're here with us. So laugh, enjoy with us. Yes, the DCTF Contributor of the Game is a pretty recent award, correct?
Yeah. The Dave Campbell Contributor of the Game, of course, Dave Campbell, our founder and editor-in-chief, was a guy who was instrumental in bringing the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame and Texas Football Hall of Fame to Waco, where it was kind of floundering in the DFW area. He brought it down to Waco, and he's made it into helped make it an incredible building that it is today. And so every year they honor somebody as a Dave Campbell Contributor to the game. And this year it's Robert Lee Brown.
Yeah, I remember it was in 2020 that we celebrated the centennial anniversary of UIL football while also commemorating the PBIL. Well, Robert Brown was essential in highlighting that history and bringing its stories to the forefront because, see, the Prairie View Interscholastic League, which was formed in 1939, governed athletic competition among the segregated schools, changed with desegregation in the late 60s, thank goodness, and Robert has made a point to really capture all of that history so that it can never be forgotten and will always be a part of UIL moving forward. He was pivotal in that story that we got to bring to life that year, and I'm just so thankful for him, so thankful that he's being celebrated tonight.
He's a guy who has really brought PBIL history to the forefront, and I think that it is one of those things that if you are not active in making sure it is a part of Texas high school football, it is easy to let it fall by the wayside because of just the fact that it was in a different era long ago, right? And when we played segregated football here in Texas. But PVIL has such a rich history of players and coaches and an unbelievable story to tell, and Robert Brown has been instrumental in telling that story. I know that in talking with folks at the UIL, they've talked for a long time about how PVIL history is UIL history. That they want UIL history to be about the entirety of Texas high school football, and Robert Brown has been instrumental in making sure that that part of our history, our shared history in the state, is a part of the overall story of Texas high school football, because you cannot tell the story of Texas high school football without the PVIL, and Robert Brown has dedicated a lot of his life to telling that story, and deserving of going to the Hall of Fame.
Like, a lot of people don't know that Dick Night Train Lane and Ken Houston and Mean Joe Green they were members of the PVIL here in the state of Texas. They went on to have successful collegiate and professional careers, but it began in that league, and I love seeing Robert Brown preserve that for us tonight. Again, thankful he is going to be celebrated among the other inductees here at the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. Our first Texas High School Football Hall of Fame inductee will be Riley Odoms. And again, the 1969 and previous era, was he heralded out of West Oso High School in Corpus Christi in the mid-'60s, a phenomenal multi-sport athlete labeled by West Oso coach Mac Dickey as the best linebacker, and he called him an offensive end that I have ever seen, truly a coach's dream.
Yeah, Riley Odoms, of course, went on, probably best known for his time in the NFL, where he was kind of one of the first really great tight ends. A guy who really kind of revolutionized the game there in the 70s, a four-time Pro Bowler with the Broncos, but he was spectacular down there in Corpus Christi at West Oso, an unbelievable player there in the mid-60s, and a guy who, you talk about a Texas football super teamer in 1967. He went on to the University of Houston, where he was a star there before going on to the NFL. One of the things that I love about the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame and the way that they go about their business is that they make sure that they separate it by decades. I think a lot of times we can get caught up in the present, and we can say, "Oh, when's that guy that I watched play 10 years ago going in the Hall of Fame?" And the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame has always been intentional about making sure that the past is honored and making sure that folks who played a long time ago, before there was TV, before there was streaming on TexanLive.com, that folks remember the players who helped to shape Texas high school football in the way that it was. And I always think of the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame as, who are the people that you cannot tell the story of Texas high school football without? Wow. And Riley Odoms is one of those guys that you cannot tell the story of Texas high school football without a monster down there in Corpus Christi in the 60s and getting his just desserts tonight in the Texas High School Hall of Fame.
Well, when you talk about names that must go down when telling the story of Texas high school football and its great illustrious history, I always think of Port Arthur Jefferson High School, the guys that they churned out, the Todd Dodges, the Shea Walker is a good friend of ours who broadcast alongside us with the various events. He went in a year ago, but his teammate Brent Duhon is finally getting his nod this year. Brent, of course, starred there alongside Shea and Todd in the late 70s, played a vital role in helping Port Arthur Jefferson reach the 5A state championship game in 1980. He caught 89 passes that season for over 1,300 yards, 19 touchdowns. I mean, he was truly a vital member of that championship squad.
Yeah, and part of the dynasty. Part of what was one of the greatest kind of runs we've seen in that part of the state there, Port Arthur Jefferson there in the late 70s and early 80s. That did put out so many great playmakers. But Brent Duhon, it's a long time coming for him, quite frankly. I think it's kind of crazy it took this long to get him into the Texas High School Hall of Fame, because what he was able to do down there at Jefferson was without peer. And remember, to tell the story, this was the advent and when people really did start throwing the ball around. You know what I mean? And so Brent Duhon kind of helped to set the standard for what receivers in Texas high school football would do and what they're doing today. Like that's what's amazing is we're talking about innovators and programs, there like Jefferson that were much more wide open in that regard than their predecessors. And so for me, what I think is Brent Duhan's legacy is not just what he did on the field, but the players that he inspired and the tone that he set to help change the game of Texas high school football, it being a part of that Jefferson dynasty, a wildly impressive playmaker in his own right, but also his impact and what he meant for the evolution of Texas high school football receivers. I
just want to hear stories about him from Shea and vice versa. You can get those two together. Get those two going all day. So again, a big congrats to Brent Duhan, who will be honored here tonight, as well as Corey Redding, former North Shore Mustang. In fact, Redding was named USA Today's Defensive Player of the Year in 1999 and was a consensus high school All-American. As a senior, how about 215 tackles for the Stangs, including 22 for loss. He obviously went on to start the University of Texas, much like Brent Duhan did as well. So we got a lot of hook'em spirit in here with the guy hosting the thing as well.
Corey Redding, one of the most dominant defensive linemen you'll see in Texas high school football, and one of the first real stars in North Shore, which is certainly saying something because they've had their fair share, but a monster in the middle and a guy who was a star at three levels, the high school football, the college football, and the pro level, and certainly a deserving member of the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he also started for the Detroit Lions. I'd love to get Redding's thoughts on maybe, I don't know, what the Lions have done of late. Things seem to be going well up in Detroit. And for Corey Redding, who is here in attendance tonight and standing by now with our Mallory Hartley.
Mallory Hartley, Dave Campbell's Texas Football here at the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. Standing here with former North Shore defensive lineman, Corey Redding. Corey, there is no doubt that you have left your mark on the Texas high school football community in such a big way at North Shore, and even continuing into your college career at Texas. What was your initial reaction when you got that call saying that you were going to be inducted into the 2024 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame?
It was a pretty amazing phone call. Craig Way, saw his name show up on my phone, and I'm like, Craig never calls me. So what's going on, Craig? And say, hey, Corey, how you doing, man? I hope I'm not bothering you. No, I'm having lunch with my wife, but talk to me. Hey, man, I just wanted to let you know that you've been inducted into the class of 2024 Hall of Fame for high school. And I said, oh, that's awesome. Thank you again. It's a pleasure to hear from you. And so just to get that phone call was just a breath of fresh air. To hear from my buddy Craig and to be a part of this elite class is just truly an honor.
And you're joining some of the greats that went through here, Matthew Stafford and Leonard Davis, which I'm going to ask you about in just a second because it sounds like you guys were buddies. What does it mean to be inducted and join this elite group of players that have left their mark on the high school football community?
Yes, Texas is built with rich tradition of talented players, date back years and years, and just so much talent come out of the state of Texas. And to be in the hall with these men, former teammates and former competitors, and to have my name enshrined with them is just truly an honor again. And at the end of the day, we were just playing a kid's game, at a very high level, and we were very good at what we did, not knowing that it would yield these types of fruits down the road. But I'm just again humbled, blessed, and honored to be a part of it.
And before the interview started, you said that you had some fond memories with Leonard Davis, who was inducted into the 2023 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. You want to walk me through that a little bit?
I know Leonard Davis as Big Len.
Len, I love it.
We were teammates at Texas, and Big Len was always into different things. Country boy, race, remote control cars, riding cattle and horses, things like that. Well, I got a knock on my door about 3 a.m. one night, and there was Leonard. And Big Len, I opened the door, I'm like, Big Len, it's 3 a.m, what are you doing? Say, hey, see Red, that's what they called me in college. See Red, let's go in the parking lot and race remote control cars, bring your car out. And I was like, come on, Big Len, I'm tired.
You can't deny that. You
can't deny it. I was like, all right, man, just give me 5 minutes. But no, Big Leonard was a great teammate, heck of a player, and I hated going against him in practice. He's
a big guy.
Big man to get around.
And finally, North Shore, they got a pretty good ball club, yeah. I'd say. Even now, they brought him a couple of state titles, made a state title appearance last year. What does it mean for you to kind of represent the North Shore community in this type of way? Not necessarily, winning a state championship nowadays, but representing the community in this type of way now?
It's awesome to, go down the streets, walk the same hallways, and play on the same fields at those kids, and let them know that, you're doing great things now, but you're standing on the shoulders of men that, laid the foundation for that, right? And I realized that playing in that community that I'm standing on the shoulders of guys before me. And so we have to continue to carry the torch for one another and show the younger class what it means to be a Mustang, what it means to earn the right to win in everything that you do, in the classroom, in the training room, on the football field, even with your grades. So it's an honor, truly blessed to be here to receive this award and to take it back to the community, have it displayed at the school so we can have future potential Texas High School Football Hall of Famers look at the trophy and go, I want to be the next person from North Shore to do the same thing.
I love that. And lastly, are you going to be going to any games this year?
Which games?
North Shore games?
Oh, yeah. I always try to make it to the state title game. I was at a state title game this year. I try to follow them throughout the playoffs. But yes, I always try to make it back to Galena Park, North Shore High School off of Wallaceville Road and watch a game or two and support the kids.
That's awesome. Well, Corey, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations again on such an incredible honor.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Aaron, back to you.
Corey Redding, you have earned your seat here tonight. Wonderful conversation there with Mallory Hartley. The next inductee warms my soul quite literally and completely. It's the late, great Cedric Benson, who starred at Midland Lee, as it was known then. It's now Midland Legacy. But, you and I were discussing on the way down here today that whenever we pose the question, who is the greatest Texas high school football player of all time, or who is the greatest Texas high school football player you've ever seen, how many times does Cedric Benson roll right off the tongue?
Yeah, Cedric Benson, the first player to ever be on the cover, a high school player to ever be on the cover of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And I've thought a lot about Cedric Benson, especially in the wake of his passing, his tragic death a couple of years ago. And I think he was the last Texas high school football legend. And here's what I mean by that. Now, when you're a great Texas high school football player, and word gets out about you, and we can go online and we can watch tape, and we can watch the film, and you can see them on TV, and you can watch their games. This was what he was doing in the late 90s and early 2000s there at Midland was kind of like mysterious. You would hear about this. You'd hear tell of there's this unbelievable running back way out west, and you won't believe what he's doing.
But keep in mind, kids, this was before you had access to see it from afar.
And so you wouldn't get to see him, right? And then if you got the opportunity to see him, you'd say, "Oh my gosh!" It's like seeing the Loch Ness monster. It's like seeing this unicorn. And
yes.
An unbelievable player, a legend in Texas high school football, gone too soon, inducted posthumously today in the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, where there was no doubt he would end up. I think from a very young age, there was no doubt that he was going to be in the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. He gets his due. It is terribly, terribly sad that he cannot be here to accept that. His family is.
Right, and I love seeing his family.
And it is a true, as far as people deserving of going to the Texas High School Hall of Fame, you cannot tell the story of Texas high school without Cedric Benson. Plain and simple, what he did there at Midland Lee will live forever and will now be enshrined here.
Yeah, I don't know what you believe, but I do believe Cedric Benson is here tonight. His family is absolutely being, we got to see them earlier, and I'm just, he was one of the greats, and it warms my soul to know he is finally getting his due nod into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. Now, among some of these inductees will also be the Eddie Joseph Coach Award winners, named after the legendary Hall of Fame coach, Eddie Joseph himself. And the first one is a great friend of ours, Tim McKinnon of that juggernaut out there in Aledo. Tim, of course, is the longtime leader of them, leading to 8 titles as a head coach. Now, remember, he did that little swap with Steve Wood, where he went to athletic director, Steve became the head coach, and then Tim missed it too much, so then he came back to the field. It's a great story of just how he built a program that no one really knew much about to one that has national recognition today.
I mean, yeah, he built Aledo from essentially like a Texas high school football also ran into the Texas high school football program of record. Like, plain and simple, 12 state championships. He's one of 3 coaches to win state championships in 4 different decades. Okay, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and the 2020s, along with G.A. Moore and Gordon Moore. Okay, I mean, that should say it all. He is one of the finest Texas high school football coaches of all time, and one of the greatest program builders of all time as well. And that, I think, is going to be his legacy. Coaching, an outstanding coach, plain and simple. But as a program builder, arguably peerless in Texas high school football.
Yeah, again, as mentioned, Tim Buchanan led Aledo to 8 state titles as a head coach, and then oversaw 3 as an athletic director before him announcing his retirement on January 27th. Robbie Jones has done a terrific job filling, or rather taking the torch from him this season. In fact, I'm curious to know if Tim has any sentiments regarding what Robbie has done since he has left. He is here tonight and also standing by with Mallory Hartley.
Mallory Hartley, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, here in beautiful Waco, Texas, at the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. Standing here, the man of the hour, former Aledo head football coach, Tim Buchanan. Coach, I bet you get this question all the time, but I want to ask it. Are you missing being down there on the sidelines yet or not?
You know what? I've handled it really well this time. I miss it. Yeah, do I miss the kids? I miss the kids. But I go and watch a lot of football practices now. I've seen football practices in West Texas, South Texas, East Texas, and North Texas. I've been to games around the state. So it's been a lot of fun, actually.
And what an incredible run you had at Aledo. The only coach to win a state title in 4 separate decades. 8 titles to be exact. When you got that call initially that you were going to be inducted into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame for the class of 2024, what were your first thoughts?
Well, first, you just made me sound really damn old.
I did not mean to do that. You know that.
Well, Dr. Brydup called me. And first of all, when you get a call from Dr. Brydup, I was still employed by Aledo ISD, I think maybe at that time. I'm not sure, but it scares the heck out of you when you get a call from the UIL, especially Charles Brydup. But it honestly brought tears to my eyes, because getting inducted into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame is the ultimate honor that a high school football coach in Texas could have.
Well, and I was going to say, too, you just mentioned it. I mean, you're joining the Hall of Honor with some of the greats like G.A. Moore and Gordon Wood. So kind of talk about that and what that means to be joining some of the best Texas high school football coaches in the history of the sport.
Well, I mean, sitting next to John Wilkins from Odessa Permian. Gordon Wood, who I can remember running track and going to Brownwood for track meets, and G.A. Moore, all of those guys are legends. And just to be mentioned with these guys is, I keep wanting to wake up, or thinking I'm going to wake up and think it was a dream, because it is not something that whenever I went into coaching 40 years ago that I thought was ever going to happen.
And finally, you got to watch your successor, Robbie Jones, bring home another state title to Parker County last year. Man, walk me through that. I bet that was one of the coolest moments in your career.
Well, I've gotten to do it twice now, because when I went full-time AD, back when we started growing so fast that I couldn't keep up, and Steve Wood did it, and then to see Robbie do it, because Robbie has been there since the year 2000.
Right.
Robbie has been he is the longest tenured coach other than I was. Now he is the longest tenured coach at Aledo ISD, and he deserved the job, number one, and he showed how good of a football coach he was. As you saw, they really didn't need me around anyway. So
they kicked you to this curb a little bit.
Yeah, they said, you go on down the road. We got a better guy behind you.
Well, that's so awesome. We'll be watching your Bearcats, of course, this past year. But thanks so much for joining us today, and really congratulations on such an incredible honor.
Thank you.
Aaron, back to you.
Thank you, Mallory. Poor Mal gets the brunt of making him feel old when you were the first to do it.
I did not do that, no. Coach Buck loves me. Hates Mallory Hartley, apparently.
It is impressive, the 4-decade span coach, and I know he hates attention, but he better eat it up tonight because he so deserves it. Our next Eddie Joseph Coach Award winner might have a little mojo on his side. What do you think? John Wilkins out of Odessa Permian. How about this? In 13 seasons over the Panthers, they played 170 games. Of those 170 games, he lost just 16 of them, which makes his winning percentage one of the highest all time in UIL football history.
148, 16, and 6. 2 state championships in 13 seasons. An unbelievable run for John Wilkins at the helm of the Odessa Permian kind of juggernaut. This is right before, for those who are familiar with Friday Night Lights, this is right before like the 88 like Friday Night Lights era, but like this was the build. This was what made Permian this juggernaut under John Wilkins. And by the way, I will tell you that this room is filling up. Mojo is rolling deep. Mojo is rolling deep tonight out here to support John Wilkins. An unbelievable performance. I've already seen Jeff Ellison, the current head coach there at Permian, here. A ton of former players here supporting John Wilkins, going into the Texas High School Hall of Fame with the Eddie Joseph Award. Truly deserved. I mean, what he did, and again, to do it in such a short span, 13 seasons, in the grand scheme of things, 13 seasons, not all that long of a career as far as a head coach.
Anymore, it's a cup of coffee in Texas high school football.
Absolutely, but to win 148 games in 13 seasons, I believe it's third best winning percentage of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only got guys like Gary Joseph, who of course is now like, his dad is the guy that this award is named after.
Exactly,
So,
Gary Joseph, the son of Eddie Joseph. And Gary's son, Jeff Joseph, is the one who brought PNG a title, who's also here getting celebrated. It's truly a family affair. That's what we talk about often. Texas high school football is one big family, and that's why this feels like a reunion.
It is, and it's so fun to be here at the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony, simply because of the understanding and the love of this sport, and the understanding of the history and the appreciation of the history of this sport, to celebrate it. All these people who are here today want to celebrate and tell the story of Texas high school football, and that's what makes today so special for the people who are being inducted, for the families of those being inducted, for the people who played for people and play for and with people being inducted, and also just for us, for people who love the sport.
And that's what you're going to hear a lot of the inductees talk about tonight, is the sacrifices made by their loved ones to allow them to do what they loved. And if they're going to honor their wives and their children and those that we may not always, I need to highlight more, because they're just as pivotal in what these coaches and these athletes do on and off the field.
Yeah, we talked earlier with the guy who's going in, in the Tom Landry Award, right? We ran into Randy Allen, head coach there.
Who I hope wears the fedora tonight, by the way.
Well, there he is walking up there right now. We were talking with him earlier, and we got done, and the first thing you said to me was just saying, like, oh, I need to go find Carol. You know what I mean? Like, he need to go find his wife. And Coach Allen will tell you how integral she has been to his success as well. So this is of course a celebration for these players, but it's all, and these coaches. But it's also a celebration for these families and for these communities. You know, you heard Corey Redding talk about how he feels like he is representing North Shore. You see John Wilkins, he feels like he is representing Permian. We know Randy Allen feels like he is representing both places like Highland Park and Abilene and Brownwood, right? Those types of places.
Dave Campbell's Texas football contributor to the game, Robert Brown, knowing that the Prairie View Interscholastic League will be forever cemented in Texas high school football lore because of this honor tonight, and because the Texas Sports Hall of Fame does such a wonderful job at encapsulating and really and preserving this history.
If you've never been here to Waco, to the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, it's certainly worth your time for the Texas Rangers exhibit. I don't know if you know this, they won the World Series in 2023, so there's a big exhibit over there talking about how the Rangers won the World Series in 2023. But also back behind us actually is the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, and to walk through there and to see the history that is laid out there it always like makes me happy. I always make sure I stop by. We were walking through, you and I, a little bit earlier, and you're like, oh, I love that Unicorns jersey. And I just said, you know what Unicorns jersey that is? That's Cliff Kingsbury's Unicorns
Because
jersey.
of course it is.
It's New Braunfels jersey. So only here in the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, and specifically here at the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, can you get that opportunity to see that, as well as wax Dave Campbell, which is always a treat here in Waco. It's been fantastic. And I love coming here to the Texas Sports Hall of Fame to celebrate it, and it just re-energizes me, especially here in May. It's kind of the desert of Texas high school football right now. We're working on the 2024 summer edition, I promise. That's why I have bags under my eyes. But I will tell you that coming here and being surrounded by the Texas high school football community is re-energizing for me. It's always a fantastic event.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Again, the Hall of Famer himself, Craig Way, will be hosting the ceremony tonight. He popped in earlier to say hello, and I'm looking at the tables filling up. People eating and dining and preparing to commemorate and celebrate those that have played important roles in the game that we've come to love today.
Can I say one more thing? There's a QR code up in the corner of your screen. If you would like to support the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame and the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, scan that QR code, make a small donation. Your dollar can go a long way towards preserving the history of sports and specifically Texas high school football within this sport. So please consider, if you have the means, scan that QR code. As I mentioned, your dollar will go a long way towards preserving sports in this state and specifically Texas high school football. So we hope you will consider a small donation to Texas High School Football.
I'm just still jealous of Dave Campbell's library in there. The room is his actual former library, and it's just a thing of beauty.
And by the way, those are his clothes. Like, he donated those real clothes to be on his wax statue, which has to be a very strange conversation to have. Be like, hey Dave, can we borrow some of your clothes to put on a wax statue?
I just love that I got to pay respects to him in there. It feels like holy grounds this place does, and I can't think of a better guy than Craig Way to get to lead this event here tonight. A special thank you to our producer Ashley Pickle for helping us with this pregame party, as we like to call it, before the induction ceremony. Our reporter Mallory Hartley for catching up with Corey Redding and Tim Buchanan. She also mentioned the silent live auction here tonight. So this is a special evening. I'm grateful to get to be a part of it for the first time. Thank you again for the invite.
For sure. We're going to drive home together now.
We've spent a lot of quality time together tonight,
Keep our
haven't
own
we?
dog.
And we're going to continue to do so, as that'll do it for the 2024 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony pregame show. We hope you enjoy the rest of tonight. Craig Way coming up in a bit. We encourage you to grab a bite like the rest in this room, and we'll see you back shortly.
Now, the last thing in the world I want to do is interrupt that photo. That's a great picture over there. I don't want to interrupt that, but we do need to start the program, and we do want to remind you of the items over there on the silent auction as well. We're thrilled to have you, and hope everybody enjoyed the dinner. And we're very excited to welcome back Texas Farm Bureau Insurance as the sponsor of tonight's banquet. They're just tremendous. They always have been very supportive, not only of the communities, but of high school football. And they are the sponsor of the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. Successful high school athletic programs are indeed a rewarding experience, and not only for the athletes and staff, but also the families, the school system, and the entire community. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has been serving the needs of Texas families for more than 50 years. They proudly support you, your family, and your community involvement in these programs, building its companies on the principles of hard work, dedication, loyalty, and integrity. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance acknowledges the same qualities in the state championship coaches and our Hall of Fame inductees being recognized here tonight. Congratulations to each of you. Thank you, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. As we mentioned, we want to welcome those who are watching us via the live stream tonight. And we're glad to have Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine, Texan Live, with Aaron Hardigan and Greg Tepper here hosting as well. If you'd like to donate, by the way, to the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, you can go to our website or scan the QR code in the corner of the screen. You can do that as well. Right now, we want to take the opportunity for a very special award that's given in honor of one of the greatest high school football coaches in history. Each year, the Gordon Wood Award is presented to an especially noteworthy high school football team that has displayed good sportsmanship, the ability to overcome challenges, have the support of its community, and achieve success on the field. The award is named, of course, for the legendary Texas high school football coach Gordon Wood, who won 9 state championships during his career, 2 at Stanford and 7 at Brownwood. Each year, the team is selected in consultation with members of the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame Board. This year, each one of these qualifications was fulfilled by the 2023 Oglesby Tigers. Now, there was a great bit of capsulizing the program at Oglesby written by one of our board members, Bryce Cherry. And it goes as follows. Whenever anything upstages the Rattlesnake Roundup for entertainment in the Coryell County ranching community of around 440 people, you know it has to be a big deal. So you can forget about the slithering stakes that invade Oglesby every February. The real noise emanated from the football field, as for the first time in school history, the Oglesby Tigers reached the state football championship game in 2023. Coach Danny Markham in his third season, as the mayor, Danny Markham said it was really crazy. He said, I grew up here, I played football here in the early 90s. Small towns, you know how it is, and football is everything, and usually you don't get this many people excited about it, though. I haven't seen it in my lifetime of being here. It's kind of shocking. So when the Tigers defeated the traditional 6-man football power Richland Spring 62-48 in the Class 1A Division I 6-man state semifinals in Dublin, it was, by all accounts, a historic day for the town. Not only did it extend Oglesby's record to a perfect 13-0, but it sent the Tigers on to AT&T Stadium in Arlington to play for that elusive state championship. And even though the Tigers did fall in the title round to the defending state champions, top-ranked Benjamin, they could still walk proud for all they achieved. Jeb Dixon, the head coach, said, big game, big stage. Kids are kids. He said, it's the craziest profession in the world. We hinge our daily lives on 15, 16, and 17-year-old kids. That's crazy, but you know, I love them to death, and they'll be fine. These kids are resilient, and things move on. As the season unfolded, Oglesby's success was pretty much all that the town could talk about. It was the chief topic of conversation in the halls of the Oglesby School in the Sunday school classrooms over at the First Baptist Church and its neighbor, the First United Methodist Church, in line at First National Bank, over a burger at the O-Town Cafe. Everybody had tiger fever. And unlike those rattlesnake bites, nobody went looking for any antivenom. Markham said some people you wouldn't think would pay that much attention to it, but everybody's been out. It's been crazy. A lot of the older folks had never seen this. Well, Coach Dixon had been building toward this for some time. He took over as head coach in 2020 after a successful run as an assistant coach at Jonesboro. That first season brought with it all the hurdles and restrictions that accompany any football season being played out amid a global pandemic. But it also served as a launching pad for a new era in Oglesby as the Tigers put together their most profitable season in decades. They went 9-2 and defeated Oakwood in the playoffs for their first postseason victory since 1983. Wasn't a fluke either. The Tigers made a steady ascent to the state six-man prominence and have done that on that ascent ever since, going 9-3 in 2021 and 11-1 in 2022 before last fall's beautiful breakthrough. So, the winner of the 2023 Gordon Wood Award, please welcome the head coach of the Oglesby Tigers, Coach Jeb Dixon.
Well, I'd like to thank the Texas Sports Hall of Fame for having us tonight and for presenting us with the Gordon Wood Award. It's with immense gratitude and pride that I accept this honor. This award is not just a reflection of my personal commitment, but it symbolizes the hard work, resilience, and spirit of the entire Oglesby Tigers coaching staff, team, school staff, and community. This past season has been one of extraordinary achievements and unforgettable moments, from our first two-a-day practice to our journey to AT&T Stadium for the state championship. These young athletes have shown what it means to compete with integrity, passion, and teamwork. They've battled through adversities, injuries, and skepticism. Their commitment has been unwavering and their passion for the game undying. They've not only achieved great things, but have done so with sportsmanship and respect for their competitors. Their dedication has not only made this season memorable, but it's also etched the name of Oglesby High School into the heart of Texas football. Coach Gordon Wood, whose legacy this award commemorates, was known for his winning spirit and his profound impact on his players. Like him, I see my role not just in terms of wins and losses, but in how we prepare our young athletes for life beyond the field. It's about instilling values that our parents instilled in us, in hopes that our athletes carry forward into their lives: discipline, respect, and pursuit of excellence. I hope we are helping them become better husbands, fathers, and mentors for their future families and communities. I want to thank my coaching staff for the long hours and commitment to this team and program. I truly believe when you surround yourself with high character people, it makes you a better person. Our staff is extremely close on and off the field, and it's fun to get up and go to work. You guys will always be in my circle. Our administration, board, and staff, thank you for supporting us on and off the field. We are blessed to have a great team at Oglesby ISD and strive to make it the best little school in Central Texas. Parents and community members of Oglesby, your unwavering support fuels us every day. Filling the stands on Friday nights and the love you share for our athletes is a true testament to Tiger Nation. Our players, man, all this recognition belongs to you. Your hard work and sacrifices are what bring us together on occasions like this. You are the unsung heroes to the community, and I love each and every one of you. Coaches' wives are the backbone of our program. The long nights on the road for games, giving up their weekends, holidays, many evenings, so we can go out and coach the game we love. Thank you for all you do, wives. It takes a special person to be a coach's wife. Coaches' kids are unique because they are held to a higher standard. As coaches, we miss so much from games or at times important life achievements. Our kids have tough skin. They know how to deal with adversity at an early age, learning to embrace victory and defeat. But through it all, they understand the lifestyle. So to our kids, we love you and thank you. As we look to the future at Oglesby ISD, let's continue to build on our traditions and keep striving for excellence, both on and off the field. Thank you once again for this tremendous honor, and thank you for everything you do for the game we all love.
Congratulations again to Coach Dixon and the Oglesby Tigers. The next presentation is for the Tom Landry Award. It's given annually for outstanding contributions to the game of football by a Texas high school coach whose life and actions have provided a positive influence for athletes and is a credit to the coaching industry. Now, there's many reasons why this year's recipient is like the perfect recipient for this award. Some of you know that. I also can't think of a better person to present this award than the executive director of the Texas High School Coaches Association and a 2021 Texas High School Football Hall of Fame inductee. Please welcome Coach Joe Martin.
Thanks, Craig. What a great evening to celebrate greatness. Congratulations to state champions, to our athletes, and our coaches being inducted tonight. We have a special award that we would like to present at this time. The Texas High School Coaches Association established the Tom Landry Award in 1990 to publicly honor a coach that exemplifies Coach Landry's characteristics. A coach of high moral character that has served as a mentor and a role model for coaches and for kids, and has been in the coaching profession for 20 years or longer and has made significant contributions to the game of football. And Craig said it a while ago, Randy Allen is the perfect fit, the perfect recipient of the Tom Landry Award for multiple reasons. He certainly meets this criteria and exceeds this criteria for this award. The 8 Texas High School Coaches Association regions select their finalists during the February regional meeting. And then our association board of directors at the spring board meeting vote on this award, and this award becomes the most prestigious award voted on by our membership than anything else. It's a peer vote. So Coach Allen's peers are the ones that voted for him. Coach Charlie Johnson of Childers High School was named the first recipient of this award in 1990, and tonight we honor our 35th Texas High School Coaches Association Tom Landry Award recipient. And I believe Coach Landry would be very proud of the 35 coaches that have received this award and very proud of tonight's recipient. Coach Allen has been recognized as a distinguished alumni at SMU, multiple state and national Coaches of the Year awards, FCA, Grant Taft, Dallas Cowboys, AFCA, NFL awards. Coach Allen's in the Texas High School Coaches Association Hall of Honor and multiple Hall of Fames. Randy served on the THSCA Board of Directors from 86 to 89 and was the president from 94 to 95. He's the author of 2 books. He was motivated by his belief in power of faith and integrity. Those books being Coaching by the Book, The Purpose and Passion of High School Coach, that was published in 2006. Coaching Character, which was published in 2010. Coach Allen's been coaching for 50 years, been a head coach for 43. Started his career in 1973 at Bryan High School, became the head coach at Ballinger in 1980, followed Coach Gordon Wood, who we heard about a while ago at Brownwood in 1985. Randy returned to his alma mater, Abilene Cooper, in 1990, and then in 1999 became the head coach and athletic director at Highland Park High School. His record at Highland Park is simply 298-38. His 25-year home record at Highland Park is 131-2. So you coaches sitting over here, make sure you don't go to Highland Park and play. He had an exciting three-peat in 2016, 17, and 18, winning 3 state championships. He's currently the second all-time winningest coach in Texas high school football history at 457, 98, and 6. Coach Allen's joined tonight by his son Zach and his wife Jenny, their 3 children Connor, Caroline, and Cooper, his daughter Ashley Flowers and her husband Pete Flowers, and their children Paul, James, and Drew, and of course his beautiful wife of 50 years, Carolyn. Please join me in congratulating the 2024 Texas High School Coaches Association Tom Landry Award, Coach Randy Allen, Highland Park High School.
Well, Joe, that was the kind of introduction I could listen to all day, and I thought I might have to. That was one of the longest ones I've ever had. You know, in my opinion and Joe's opinion, the Tom Landry Award is the most prestigious award given by the Coaches Association. After I got the phone call from Joe that I'd been selected to receive the Tom Landry Award, I asked my wife, I said, "Honey, in your wildest dreams, did you ever think that I'd receive the Tom Landry Award?" And she said, "You're never in my wildest dreams." Coach Landry was my role model growing up. I saw his coaching excellence on the football field, leading the Dallas Cowboys. When I was 18 years old, I got to hear him speak about his Christian faith at Estes Park, Colorado at an FCA camp. In Coach Landry's life, his priorities were faith, family, and football. Bob Lilly, former All-Pro defensive lineman for the Cowboys, said, "Coach Landry's priorities in life became my priorities. His players are his legacy. We will pass him on to our children and our nation." He was and still is a tremendous influence for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes by his legacy of faith in Christ and being a great role model for a coach, a husband, and a father. He influenced thousands of young athletes and coaches by being a role model of integrity on and off the field. His second priority was his family. He showed his love for his wife, Alicia, and his family. His wife, Alicia, was a graduate of Highland Park High School, and they attended Highland Park Methodist Church. Coach Landry passed away in 2000. To honor Coach Landry, I decided to wear a fedora for the 2001 football season. Our team had a very successful season. I decided not to wear the fedora in 2002, but to wear a baseball cap. To start the 2002 season, we were highly favored to win the game against Lancaster. We were upset, and so Monday night at the Booster Club meeting, everyone had a reason why we didn't win. The grass was wet, we missed a field goal, we had some players out for discipline. And I said, no, the reason we didn't win, and I had a box behind me, is because I didn't wear, and I pulled out the blue fedora, because I didn't wear my fedora. So 22 years later, I'm still wearing the fedora. There are so many people I want to thank tonight, and I appreciate Joe introducing my family, but there are some administrators here and some friends that I want to recognize. First, our superintendent, Dr. Mike Rockwood, our assistant superintendent, Shore Heathcote, and our principal, now it's our athletic director, Jeremy Gilbert, and our assistant superintendent, Scott Drillette, and then my friends, Jim and Jenny Castelaw are here, and my lovely wife, Carolyn, is a great coach's wife, and thank my family for coming and all my grandkids. Most of them have played for me. So I'm honored to receive this award, and I want to thank the players and assistant coaches at Highland Park for being the winningest football team in the history of Texas high school football and putting me in a position to receive the Tom Landry Award. Thank you.
It is now time, speaking of champions, as Coach Allen has been on multiple occasions, it is time now for our annual presentation of the Hall of Fame watches to the coaches of our 2023 state championship teams. Helping with the presentation of tonight's watches are the Texas High School Coaches Association Board of Members and UIL directors. Our state championship watches are being provided courtesy of Jostens, celebrating moments that matter. We'd ask at this time, and they're already starting to make their way forward, the coaches of the state championship teams to make their way forward to receive the state championship watches. While the coaches are making their way to the front, if you'll look on your table, you'll find a white card that will be used later in the program for our autograph football silent auction. The cards are there on the table, and at the end of the program, please use these cards to place your bid on one of the 10 footballs that are going to be autographed by tonight's inductees. First off, the football state champions of 2023, Class 6A Division I, the Duncanville Panthers, Coach Reginald Samples. In 6A Division II, the DeSoto Eagles, Coach Claude Mathis. .5A Division I, state champion, Aledo Bearcats, Coach Bobby Jones. Following Coach Robbie Jones, the 5A Division II state champions from Port Neches Grove's Coach Jeff Joseph. Class 4A Division I, the state champions, the Anna Coyotes, Coach Seth Parr. The 4A Division II state champion, Gilmer Buckeyes, Coach Alan Metzel. The 3A Division I state champions, the Malakoff Tigers, Coach Jamie Driscoll. The 3A Division II state champion, Gunner Tigers, Coach Jake Fizell. From Class 2A Division I, the state champion Timpson Bears, Coach Kerry Thurwanger. The Class 2A Division II state champions, the Albany Lions, Coach Denny Faith. The Class 1A Division I six-man state football champions, the Gordon Longhorns, Coach Mike Reed. And the 1A Division II six-man state champions, the Benjamin Mustangs, Coach Nathan Hayes. How about another round of applause for all of our state championship coaches. Now, before we officially enshrine the class of 2024, I'm going to call out the names of the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame former inductees who are with us this evening. We ask you to hold your applause until all the names have been read, and as I call your name, please stand and remain standing until I finish the list. Our executive director, Mike Anderson, and myself, we're honored to be a part of this class that it also includes Dr. Charles Brydup, the Executive Director of the UIL. Also, please stand as I call your names. Jonathan Gray, Dr. Newt Hassan, Coach Gary Joseph, Coach Joe Martin, Coach John Parchman, and Coach Jim Streety. Welcome. We also have a number of other special guests with us tonight. A longtime member and a vice president of the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, Gary Hayden, passed away last year. Gary was a big advocate of high school sports and a longtime football official. He is dearly missed tonight. We are honored to have his wife, Cindy Hayden, and son, Keith Hayden, with us. Also here, representing the University Interscholastic League, Dr. Jamie Harrison and UIL Athletic Director Ray Zapata are here. Joining Joe Martin from the Texas High School Coaches Association, Assistant Executive Director, is Glenn West. And agents of the Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we talked you up quite a bit. Please stand and be recognized. So now it is time where we have reached the portion of our program where we'll present for enshrinement the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame class of 2024. This is done, as you know, by decades. So, representing prior to and inclusive of the year 1969, tell you about our Hall of Fame inductee from West Oso High in the Corpus Christi area, Riley Odoms. 1964 through 1967, he was a phenomenal multi-sport athlete, labeled by West Oso head coach Mac Dickey as, quote, the best linebacker and offensive end I've ever seen. Truly a coach's dream. Odoms won the state high jump title. He led West Oso's basketball team in scoring for 3 years, and he captained Coach Dickey's squad as a sophomore, junior, and senior. He was named to the Texas football super team in 1967. So he was incredible as a high school football player in Texas. And then he went on from there. He had a standout college career at the University of Houston before being selected by the Denver Broncos with a 5th overall pick in the 1972 National Football League draft, the second highest draft slot ever for a tight end. Odoms was a 4-time Pro Bowler with the Denver Broncos, ended his 12-year career with 396 catches for 5,755 yards and 41 touchdowns, all top 10 or top 5 totals for tight ends at the time. Please join me now as we induct Riley Odoms into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame.
Thank you so much. In 1964, a young man named Mac Dickey and Larry Falcone coached myself. And we in the high school with no more than approximately 400 to 500 students. And all 33 football players played basketball, ran track. We did everything. But one thing they did teach, they taught us technique of every down. Not how big it is or how small it is. And I can remember in practice, Mac Dickey walked up to me and said, "Why did you adjust that route?" I said, "Well, we addressed it in the huddle and we saw it. I broke off." He said, "Yeah, you cost us." I said, "Coach, I caught a touchdown." He said, "Yeah, but the next time around, the next player trying to do the same thing, you might not have success. It'd be a failure. So let's stay with the formation, stay with the patterns, and step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And the thing about that, I went on my years, all the way to the University of Houston with Joe Arena. He played for the 49ers, same thing there. And also I ran with a problem with Bill Yeoman. Bill Yeoman is a great man. And one thing we had the veer, offensive veer. And the thing about the veer is that we're going to throw the ball maybe about 10 times a game. Have you coaches, if I'm telling the truth? But the thing about it is we're going to gain 400 or 500 yards. And so at this time, he won my respect by discipline. Every play, every down has to be perfect. Not one, but 11, all players, from the bottom to the top. And then same thing at the Denver Broncos level. What I'm getting to overall picture is this. Players, I don't care if you're 6 years old in here, I don't care if you're 35. Bottom line, to make a great team, and a player, is the little bitty things that you do for me, not the big ones. Because all the little bitty ones are gonna mount up to the big ones. That is the victories for a championship. And that's what every team go out every day for. I think as the gentleman that's coaching this year have won 11 games, 11 championships. So I know that those things work. Might get boring, might be a little tired for you young fellas. You might think that you're the best ball player in the world, but can you take defeat? Can you respond to defeat? If you can respond to defeat, then you can be a championship. So that's all I'm going to give you as a young athlete. Yes, I played a lot of different games, but I excel in one. And that one put me up on top of the tight ends. And I just want to thank everybody here that had anything to do with this UIL Hall of Fame, because I've been looking for it for so long. And yeah, you just don't know. You made my day. You made me solid. If you sit there and say as a player, oh, that didn't mean nothing to me, you be lying, because she hears it all the time. And the thing about that is that I'm getting a little tenderness, but I'm so happy to see the outcome and what the UIL have done for the state of Texas. Everybody know about the state of Texas ball players. And so, I guess I'm gonna tell you this, one step. I'm going through the phase now with my knees, one step at a time. And the first one is a hard one. But I'd just like to say, and I'm gonna close with this, thank you very much. Everybody treated me with respect. You have won my honor. I am so grateful to be inducted into the Texas Hall of Fame. And I'm really, really proud and grateful for it. Thank you.
Congratulations again to Riley Odoms in his induction into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. Representing the decade of the 1980s out of Thomas Jefferson High School in Port Arthur is Brent Duhan. Now, Brent was there 1978, 1979, and 1980. He played a vital role in helping Port Arthur Jefferson reach the 5A state championship game in 1980. He caught 89 passes that season for 1,380 yards and 19 touchdowns. He earned first team All-State and Parade All-American distinction. He was also a two-time district Offensive Player of the Year. He finished his high school career 1978 through 1980 with 2,663 receiving yards, 180 receptions, and 30 touchdowns. He set state records in career receptions with 180 and receptions in a season with 89. Remember, this was that Port Arthur Jefferson team that featured Todd Dodge at quarterback, a Hall of Fame inductee. Shea Walker, who was just inducted recently, also a Hall of Fame inductee. Duhan went on to start 3 seasons as a wide receiver at the University of Texas, caught 53 passes for 1,032 yards and 7 touchdowns in his college career. He's unable to be with us tonight, having recently undergone some surgery, but please help me welcome Brent Duhan into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. Representing the decade of the 1990s is Corey Redding from North Shore Senior High School in the Galena Park ISD in the greater Houston area. He was there from 1995 through 1998. Corey was named the USA Today's Defensive Player of the Year in 1999. It was a consensus high school All-American. As a senior, he posted 215 tackles for the Mustangs, including 22 for losses, a fabulous high school career in the state of Texas. He went on to the University of Texas. His head coach, Mac Brown, said, you know, things didn't really start to turn for me in getting this program geared toward its national championship prominence until I recruited Corey Redding. And that was Coach Brown's words for that. He started 35 consecutive games on the defensive line. He played in every game for 4 years, a two-time All Big 12 selection, and he finished his college career with 201 tackles, 53 of those for losses, including 21 sacks. He went on to play 13 seasons in the National Football League and was a full-time starter for the Detroit Lions for 5 seasons. During his professional career, Redding posted 426 tackles, including 35.5 sacks, 84 tackles for losses, 2 interceptions, and 4 forced fumbles. And now join me as we welcome Corey Redding as he becomes a member of the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame.
How's everyone doing tonight? How's everyone doing tonight? This is truly a blessing and an honor to be here. First, I want to give all honor and glory to my Heavenly Father and the high priest of my life, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. With that, I truly am blessed to be here. This is an amazing honor to receive, and to receive it in such a way that my children can see this. My dear friends and coaches from high school, administrative staff, my niece, her husband, family and friends, everyone who's been a part of my life. It's been truly, truly an honor. But I wouldn't be up here if it wasn't for the great men that I was surrounded by in the locker room, from David Amon's staff, and all of the coaches that he put together. 2 of them are in this room that's been instrumental in my life, Calvin Guillory and Al Segura. You guys mean the world to me. And when the time when I could have went left, you guys kept me going right. And I thank God for you guys every single day. My teammates, my teammates who, by all accounts, were way more talented than I am, but I saw that I wanted to be just as good as them, and we pushed each other. The kids in that community, we just kept fighting. We're fighters, and we pushed each other. So to all of my teammates from 1995 to 1999 with the Mustangs have been truly a blessing and an honor to play with them. And I'm just floored. This is an amazing deal. At the end of the day, when the X's and O's are done and the smoke is, smoke from the cannons are gone and the score reads 0-0 on the scoreboard, this is just a kid's game. This is a kid's game played at a very high level, and we love to play football in the state of Texas. And there was no greater feeling to go out there on Friday nights and to play your hearts out and to walk off the field with victories. And so again, thank you to the coaches and their wives for pouring into us young men. Truly, I'm a better father and a person today because of the things that I've learned on the football field, right? When tough times happen in my life, I have 2 options. I can either fight or fold, right? I learned those things on the football field. When you see a little, you see a lot, in life. I learned those lessons on the football field. It doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, but would you get up the next play? I learned those lessons on the football field that I teach my kids to this day. And at the end of it all, as long as you have HTRA, you'll be all right. And that's have the right attitude. I don't care what life throws at you. As long as you have a positive attitude about it, the sun is always shining, all right? You'll get through it. This too shall pass. And as long as you have that mindset in life, in football, in business, or in relationships, you'll be a great person. And I thank you guys for giving me this award, and it's truly an honor and a privilege and a blessing. Thank you. Thank you.
From the decade of the 2000s, our next enshrinee is the late Cedric Benson. He played at Robert E. Lee High School in Midland. from 1998 through 2000. In the year 2000, Cedric Benson was regarded as one of the most highly heralded running backs in the nation. He became the first high school football player featured on the cover of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. During his time at Midland Lee, Benson rushed for 8,423 career yards. It still ranks 8th on the all-time list, including 3,526 yards as a junior, 8th on the all-time single-season list, and 51 touchdowns that year. He followed that by rushing for 2,865 yards as a senior. Benson's starring role in the backfield propelled Midland Lee to a three-peat of 5A state championships from 1998 to the year 2000. The Rebels won the 5A Division II title in 1998 and then won back-to-back 5A Division I state championships, the largest classification at the time, in 1999 and 2000. Cedric Benson then signed with the University of Texas. He made an immediate impact, earning Big 12 Offensive Freshman of the Year honors in 2001. As a freshman, he rushed for 1,053 yards and 12 touchdowns. He finished his career at Texas with 5,540 yards and 64 touchdowns. He earned first team All Big 12 honors in 2003 and 2004 and the Doak Walker Award in 2004. Benson was selected in the first round of the 2005 NFL Draft with the 4th overall pick by the Chicago Bears. He played 8 seasons in the NFL for the Bears, the Bengals, and the Packers, rushing for 6,017 yards and 32 touchdowns. All eye-popping numbers, to be sure. To know Cedric Benson was also to know an even better individual. I've been very blessed in my life, not only with the family of high school football in Texas, but also my duties in broadcasting play-by-play for the University of Texas and the thrill to broadcast games that Corey Redding has played in, and others, and Jonathan Gray, and then obviously Cedric. And while all of that is fun, getting to know these guys was a supreme honor, and Cedric was one of the kindest, most humble guys you would ever meet, most unassuming guys, and really had a great sense of humor as well. He was a lot of fun to be around. We miss him. Tragic that we lost him. But we carry him on in our hearts, and we remember everything he brought to the game as a Midland Lee Rebel and as a Texas Longhorn. And now, please join me in representing the Benson family to accept the award in his honor is DeAndre Long, along with Cedric's mother, Jacqueline Benson, for Hall of Fame inductee Cedric Benson.
Good evening. First and foremost, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And I want to thank the Texas Football Hall of Fame. A lot of people to thank in such little time. I want to thank my mother that's here, Coach Parchman, Miss P, my auntie, Miss Bryant, and also my other auntie, Miss Tracy. Cedric was a very special human being, and a lot of people, you have to see him and understand him and know him to understand what type of person he is. And it's tough. He's not here with us today, but his legacy still lives on. I'm sorry. As this legacy still goes on, we are honoring him with the Cedric Benson Mentoring Program that's held for AISD in Austin. And Garza Middle School students are taking full advantage of that. And furthermore, we thank you and have a blessed night.
It is time now for the Eddie Joseph Texas High School Football Hall of Fame coach category. This, of course, named in honor of the former great high school football coach and former executive director of the Texas High School Coaches Association, a coach and a mentor to so many, Coach Eddie Joseph. Our first recipient of this award is Coach Tim Buchanan. Now, Coach Buck, as so many of us knew him, amassed an unbelievable record as a high school football coach, 281, 58, and 3. He won 8 state football championships as a head coach along the way, 1998, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2013, 2019, 2020, and 2022. His 8 titles are tied with G.A. Moore Jr. behind only Gordon Wood and Scott Surratt, who each have 9. Coach Buchanan is only the 3rd Texas high school football coach to win state titles in 4 different decades, as a playoff career record of 81 and 14. He recently retired after taking the Aledo job back in 1993. He spent 30 years at Aledo, 25 as their head coach. Bucks Bearcats had 2 unbeaten seasons and 20 double-digit win seasons during his tenure. The winning did not just come with Buchanan as a head coach. He also, as athletic director, saw the Aledo ISD come up with state football championships as well, titles in 2014, 2016, and 2018. Please join me as we welcome, taking his place as the Eddie Joseph Texas High School Football Coach honoree into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, Coach Tim Buchanan.
Well, y'all are in trouble because as I was sitting in my room last night trying to write a speech, I realized this is the first time since I was a freshman at Abilene Christian University I've tried to write a speech that did not deal with coaching football or football players. And I made a D on that speech. The worst part of that, the reason I made a D, the professor said it was too short, so kick back and relax. Here we go. Now, really, I want to start off by thanking the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame committee and Mike Anderson and Tiffany. I don't see Tiffany right now, but this would not happen without those people. They are unbelievable. I bet I changed my table order about 13 times, and every time Tiffany just said, "Coach, it's okay, I got it. Coach, it's okay, I got it." And one of the reasons I had to change it is because I grew up in a family of 7. I grew up in Killeen, Texas, right down the road. I was the second from the last child. My older sister's here. My oldest sister's passed recently, but my older sister's here. Good thing about her, she was quite a bit older than me, so she only whipped me a few times in my life. My 2 older brothers, now they were 4 and 5 years older than me, but they didn't bother them. They like to beat the hell out of me every day. And the worst part of it, my sister, who's only a year older than me, I think she can still whip me. The reason I tell that is because as a football player and a football coach, you got to learn to overcome adversity. And I learned that getting my butt whipped by my big sisters and big brothers throughout my life. And I want to thank them for being here. I think they're all here finally. And I wouldn't have been the athlete I was or the coach I was without my family. And speaking of family, my wife Rebecca, my son Caleb, my daughter Madeline, and then our newest member of the family, our daughter-in-law, Caleb's wife, Allison. I'm a very, very lucky man to have a great wife. I'm very blessed to have 2 kids that Caleb played for us. He got a few of those state championships. He played on our 2013 team. That was known as the bully year, when I got accused of being a bully because we beat somebody too bad. But these kids, they make me so proud because both of them have gone out. They both have good jobs, and
heck, Maddie could even actually give me a loan if I needed to, because she makes a lot more money than Rebecca and I do. All right. I see another guy. He's actually a member of the Texas High School Sports Hall of Fame, Texas Sports Hall of Fame, Randy Galloway. Randy is a resident of Aledo, and the reason I mention him is because he is my media advisor. Randy kept me out of more trouble with the media and with parents, because he would, anytime something like, we had a little issue a couple of years ago that we had a couple of knuckleheaded kids who did something, and Randy called me and coached me through that. When we had the bullying issue, Randy called and coached me through that. So it's always great to have a really good media guy in your corner. Talk about growing up and coming through Killeen High School. You know, I was very fortunate to be in Coach Gene Rogers' program. Gene Rogers was the head coach and athletic director at Killeen. He retired going into my junior year. I was very fortunate to play for a man named Rex Turner and Tommy Cox, both of those great football coaches. And they had a lot to do with me becoming a coach. And somebody asked me earlier, said, why'd you become a coach? I said, well, I was gonna be an architect. Went to college, gonna be an architect. Got to ACU trying to play football, realized I wasn't good enough to play in college, so I transferred to Southwest Texas. And Dr. Hoffman was my advisor, old football coach, and he said, if you could do anything in life, what would you do? I said, I'd still be playing football if I could do anything. He goes, well, you're not good enough to do that. What's second? I said, well, I'd coach. He goes, well, why won't you coach? And I went, well, they don't make a whole lot of money. He goes, well, I can tell you right now, good coaches make a hell of a lot more than bad architects, so you might want to change your major. So I did, and I got out of college and graduated and went back to where all my brothers and sisters were born. They were all born living in Florence, Texas, the home of the Buffaloes. Not a very good football school. I think the last time they made the playoffs was when my Uncle Joe was there, and that was in 1958, I think. But I worked in Florence, and then got to go to Bastrop and the Colony and Killeen. I moved around a bunch, is what I'm telling you, the first 5 years. Then I got extremely lucky. Mark Cunningham, who was my old friend from high school, he talked me into applying at A&M Consolidated, better known as Consolidated back then. And so I applied. Ross told me, Ross Rogers, who is the son of Gene Rogers, both of them Hall of Honor coaches, he told me it'd probably be a year or two. Well, he hires me that year at coaching school. And two great things happened there. One, that's when I met Rebecca. We met the first week I was in College Station. Of course, just show you how I overcome adversity and how I'm relentless, because she dumped me like a hot potato. She just dropped me. She was not interested, but I stayed on her and stayed on her. With the help of Mark, I finally got her to go out with me, and now we have 2 kids and been married for 35 years, I think. That's right. Is that right? No. But working for Ross in College Station taught me how to be a coach. And it led to my first head coaching job in Aledo. When we got to Aledo, it was not what it is today. There were, I think, 17 kids playing football. As they said earlier, I was the 6th coach in 5 years. The senior class, I was their 5th coach. One of them only stayed 2 days. So, but I knew, I saw something. I saw the kids. I saw how hard they wanted to work. And they started to believe in themselves, and they started believing in their coaches, and they started believing in what we were doing. And in 1996, I was able to hire a really, really good defensive coordinator named Greg Ennis. Greg's gone on. He went on to be a superintendent of schools, a head football coach, a lot of other things. But Greg, and I can tell you this right now, if I hadn't hired Greg, we would not have turned the program around.
And then Greg went off and got a head coaching job, and we hired Jim Yankee. Jim's here tonight too. Jim helped us win our first state championship in 1998. Another great man and a great coach. Kept going on, Jim leaves, and we hire Steve Wood. Steve, when you talked about winning 3 more state championships between 2014 and 2018, that was Steve Wood. Steve is an unbelievable football coach, and he is a really, really good person. He knows how to treat kids, and just like Greg did and just like Jim did, those guys are unbelievable football coaches. And I didn't leave Robbie out. Robbie Jones, we hired Robbie Jones in 2000, the year 2000. Robbie came in, taught in the middle school, coached in the high school, became the offensive coordinator in 2009. He's won now 11 state championships because Robbie just got his watch for winning the 12th state championship for Aledo. What I'm saying is very little of this has to do with one person. It's a we profession. We do these things. I wish our politicians would quit saying, I did this, because they didn't do a damn thing. We do it. So we did this, and it would not have happened without them. In closing, I want to again thank the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame and committee, because being inducted into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame is the ultimate honor a football player or football coach in the state of Texas can be a part of. Thank y'all.
You know, I'm glad that Buck explained something when he was talking about Randy Galloway being someone who would keep him out of trouble. Because if you know anything about Randy Galloway, and if you just say, well, Randy Galloway kept me out of trouble. Randy kept you out of trouble? 2 years ago, Randy was inducted, as Buck mentioned, in a special media edition of the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. Incredible names with the immortal Bill Mercer and Denny Freeman, Brad Sham, and Babe Laufenberg got up to introduce Brad Sham, and he said, I was looking for Randy, I couldn't find him. Oh, he's over at the bar. Okay, we got that. Randy is a special person, and so is Coach Buchanan as well. So is our next coaching Hall of Fame inductee. It's John Wilkins, who established his mark at Permian High School in Odessa. In 13th season, Coach Wilkins won 10 outright district titles. During those 13 seasons, the Panthers played 170 games, losing only 16 with 6 ties. He had a winning percentage of 88%, one of the highest in Texas UIL history. He led the Panthers to 4 state championship games, defeating Port Arthur Jefferson in 1980, Beaumont French in a co-championship, a tie in 1984, and after losing to Port Neches Groves in 75 and Houston Yates in 85, Coach Wilkins left his coach's office in 1985 to become the athletic director of the Ector County Independent School District. He did a tremendous job there, and the coaches who were following him had massive success. In 1989, the Panthers were coming off the Friday Night Lights year, and they achieved a great deal in 1988. And of course, Coach Wilkins was the AD. 1989, they have a rematch at Texas Stadium, playing Arlington Lamar. Now, they had beaten Lamar the year before in the state quarterfinals at Ratliff Stadium in Odessa. And I remember very vividly going out there and broadcasting the game. And then the next year, 89, is the rematch. So it's going to be on a Saturday afternoon at Texas Stadium. Well, I was working at KRLD Radio in Dallas at the time. We have a pretty big signal, 50,000 watt signal, and I used to do a Friday night high school scoreboard show, which the radio version of it kind of became the seed for what ultimately you see on Friday nights with High School Scoreboard Live. And so we were giving scores from all over. Whether in those days you had playoff doubleheaders at Texas Stadium that would go until midnight or thereafterwards. And then we would do a full scoreboard afterwards. It was on until after 1 o'clock in the morning. Get done, we turn around, we come back in the next day. We're getting ready to call this huge quarterfinal between Lamar and Permian. And I hear this voice coming into the broadcast booth says, "I'm looking for Craig Way." I turn around, and there's Coach Wilkins. And I swallowed hard. I didn't know, what did I do? And he comes over and he said, "I want you to know, I was sitting in my garage in Odessa, in my car, at 1 o'clock in the morning, listening to your scoreboard show, and my wife came out. She thought I was starting the car and trying to commit suicide in the garage." And I said I was just trying to get the scores from the late night games. But that's how dedicated he was to following high school football across the state of Texas, as well as in his own school district as athletic director. In 1998, he took the job of athletic director at private Trinity School of Midland, found himself back on the sideline as head coach until the spring of 2002. He was inducted into the Texas High School Coaches Association's Hall of Honor in 2003, and in 2021 inducted into the inaugural class of the Odessa Athletics Hall of Fame. Please join me as we induct into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, Coach John Wilkins.
It was 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it was. You're right. You're right.
Hey. Well, hello, Waco. You know, I feel like I've come almost full circle. I was born here, raised here. I met my wife here, talking about Waco. Got married here. And my first son, our first son, was born here. And my parents are buried here. So Waco has a special connection, and I'm very grateful. In my life, right now, use a football analogy, I'm entering the fourth quarter of my life. The clock is ticking, and I'm out of timeouts. So I'm thankful at this time for the Hall of Fame committee to select me for induction. Obviously, it's a big, big honor. I'm very proud to be here. I'm proud to be representing Odessa. I'm proud to be representing Odessa Permian. There's a number of groups I want to thank. First of all, my family. As every coach that's out here, as you know, your family, when it comes all down to it, when the wins and losses or championships, non-championships, or whatever, when it comes right down to it, it's your family that counts. To be by your side, to support you whether you win or lose, support you in good health or bad health. And that's true with my family. First of all, my wife, Yali, she was raised here in Waco. Wasn't born here, but she was raised here. We've been married 59 years. We were at a deal here recently. We were at a deal recently, we were talking about 50, I was, married 59 years, and I heard her say, well, 49 years, and this woman said, 49 years? I thought y'all were married 59 years. She said, I'm talking about 49 good years. In January of 2019, Yali was diagnosed with a very severe, life-threatening disease. It's been a bumpy road since then.
But she has handled everything, and I mean everything, with compassion, with care, with composure, and courage. She's been, it's hard to explain my feelings for her. I admire her tremendously because she has faced, she's looked death in the face. And here she is today. She's doing well, doing good. And I love her so much. She's right over there. Yali and I have two sons, John and Stan. I don't know that you could get two better sons than what we have. Two better sons than what we have. They have been on this journey with us for 5 decades or more. And of course, we moved. We started in Cameron as a coach at Cameron and Littlefield, and went to Amarillo, then moved to Odessa, and so on. Our two sons have been tremendous, especially these last 5+ years. They've supported us, they've loved us, they've been by our side when we need help, and they have done a tremendous job. Our two daughters-in-law have also been a great help. John's wife, Karen, Stan's wife, Nikki. To be honest with you, I don't know where we'd be or how we would have done what we've been able to do without their aid. And I want to thank them not only for that, but for their love and support. Their love and support of me and my wife. I'll tell you about these 4 people. I'm talking about 2 sons, 2 daughter-in-laws. The best way I can describe them, and it should mean something to everybody out here. When you talk about people, I describe them as good people. Good people. Everybody out here, Jimmy Joe or Ann or whatever, she's just a good person. Just a good person. That's the way these 4 people are. They're just good people. Their character. One of the inductees talked about character. They have it. They have it. Strong character. Strong character. And I firmly believe that character does count. Character does count. Anybody says, well, whatever, does it really make any difference? Yes, it does make a difference. Character does count. They're givers, not takers. They're givers, not takers. They vote in every election. Plus, with a cherry on top, they're animal lovers. And I like that. Animal lovers. We have 6 grandchildren. In early March of this year, Scout and my grandson Sam welcomed a new baby daughter into the family. So that means Yali and I are now great-grandparents. Her name is Brady. She is doing well. We have 6 grandchildren, 4 boys, 2 girls. The grandsons range in age from 29 to 12. And the 3 older boys all played high school sports. And as you might suspect, are sports fanatics. When we get together on holidays, and of course it's bowl game or baseball game, or hell, that don't make any difference what kind of game it is, it's a raucous group, I tell you. It really is. And of course, Jet, who's 12, he participates in football, basketball, soccer, and baseball. By the way, he's hitting about 700, if I'm not mistaken, in Little League baseball. I have 2 granddaughters, Lauren and Grace. Lauren just graduated from Texas Tech last Saturday. Grace will graduate in August from Texas Tech. They are 2 beautiful young women. They're seated over here. And we're proud of all our grandchildren. All our grandchildren. They have brought so much joy and fun into our lives. They are so much, they're loving, caring, but they're funny too. It's a lot of fun to be around them. And you know, we needed that. We needed that. Now I want to speak about the real reason I'm here. I'm probably going to run over to 3 minutes, by the way. But I've got the microphone and nobody's going to take it, okay? The real reason I'm here, of course, is permanent football. Now, what I'm going to talk to you about happened a long time ago, decades ago. But that's why I'm here, because of what happened in those years. A long time ago, decades ago. Let's start with from 1970 through 1979, the decade of the 70s. Permian was the winningest football team, regardless of classification, in the state of Texas. Won more games than any other team in 11-man football. Regardless, as I said, of classification. In 1980, from 1980 through 89, again, Permian won more games. As a matter of fact, they won 13 more games in the decade of the 80s than they did in the 70s. And once again, regardless of classification, they had the best record of any high school football team in the state of Texas. It was quite a run. It was quite a challenge. And we enjoyed some great success. We're proud of that. I'm proud to have been a big part of it. I'm proud to be a part of it. But the biggest reason I'm here is because of the Permian players. The Permian players. I coached for 13 seasons as a head coach. We had some great success. We did well. It wasn't easy to play for Permian. It wasn't easy. We worked hard. We had high expectations. We were disciplined. We didn't tolerate any foolishness. But our kids, of course, we're not talking about kids anymore. The 1973 team, they're having their 50th high school reunion next week. They're on the Medicare group, you know? They are. And plus, 74 teams, 75 teams, 76, they're on the Medicare group. So we're talking things that happened a long time, but they endured. They did their job. And they're proud of it. I think to a man, you go and say, was it all worth it? I think every one of them. There's a whole bunch of them here tonight. A whole bunch of them. They're here. And I'm going to ask them in just a little bit to stand. But they endured. They prospered. And the amazing thing, as I said, there'll be a lot of players here tonight. But it's not, they say they're supporting me, but they're supporting a lot more than me. They're supporting the Permian program for the success and what an impact it had on their lives. We had a little reception earlier before all this started tonight. And I don't know, there was 25 or so players there. And almost to a person. They were grateful to be a part of the program. At this time, and if you'll hold your applause, please, until we get all of them. I'd like all my former players from 1973 through 1985. Please stand and remain standing. Stand up. I told you we had a bunch of them, and we do. There's probably about, 25 or 30, something like that. And by the way, where's Tiffany? Where are you, Tiffany? You told, I think Tim, Coach McKinnon, mentioned Tiffany about, changing, my gosh, my son John, he was in touch with Tiffany almost daily. We were going back and forth. As a matter of fact, yesterday, I was thinking, oh my God, all these kids are going to show up. We don't have a seat for them. And somebody said, well, standing room only. But we saw Tiffany today, and I want to thank Tiffany and Mike for the hard. I think Corey said, this whole deal would not happen without them. And so thanks to Mike and to Tiffany as well. Another group I'd like to recognize is my former coach. Y'all don't sit down. I told y'all not to sit down. Y'all need to exercise, okay? I know, if you have a cane, just use it, okay? I'd like for my assistant coaches, trainers, people that work with me, including feeder schools. That was part of Permanent Success. We had the feeder school system in place long before most other schools, not all, but most schools had it. By feeder system, I mean in the 7th grade, they started running, at the 3 junior highs we had, they started running permanent plays, permanent terminology, permanent defense, the whole deal. So it was critical that we had good feeder school coaches, which we did. I'd like for all the coaches that coached with me in those 13 seasons, including the junior high coaches, please stand. Join, yeah, I know there's several here. These men not only were great assistant coaches, and they had success, many of them became head coaches in their own right, and had, very successful teams. Tam Hollingshead, one of them, I hired him as a junior high coach at one of our feeder schools. I don't know, 1977, I don't remember now the year. Then, of course, he stayed there for a year or so, went off, eventually came back to Permian, and he was the 1991 state champion. I have Randy Mays. Randy Mays was, of course, a junior high coach there, became at the high school coach, then went off. We hired him back. He was the head football coach in 1995 for the state finalist team. And there are others that I failed to mention. I had, a couple of coaches that also played for me. And so it's a great honor to have them. People asked me when I first retired from coaching, do you miss coaching? Do you miss coaching? And I said, well, there's some things I don't miss. And I think every coach out here would say the same thing if you've been a head coach. There's some things you don't miss. Really, I'm serious. There are things you don't miss. But I said there are 2 things that I miss. 2 things. And the coaches out there will know what I'm talking about. Number 1 is the camaraderie with the kids. I mean, the locker room, when you're out there, not necessarily on the field, but just off the field. The camaraderie you had with, young people, young men. These are kids, like somebody said, they're 16, some of them are 18, turn 18 during the season. And of course, to see them progress and do that too. But the number one thing I missed from coaching is the camaraderie with coaches. And coaches out there, you will understand what I'm talking about. There's a certain, it's serious business. It is. But there are times of great, joviality. Is that a word? I don't know. You're jovial, let's put it that way. You kid each other. Everything and everybody was fair game. You know what I mean? As far as the kidding, as far as, hey, wow, we do this, and the back and forth. It was just a great time, and great coaches, and we had such a talented group. Like I said, they went on and had success. I'd like to quickly, I know I've run over time, I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry, because I have the microphone. Another group, there's a number of permanent players that are here. They did not play in years 73 through 85. There are a number of players that played, and our current coaches here, the coaches at Permian. So I'd ask those, 8, 9, 10 people to please stand. If you played at Permian, and that includes my younger son, he's there, and 2 grandsons, and some others that are here, Talon's here, and the final group, just to get it all over. You know, I'm so privileged and honored. I'm privileged and honored and humble to have this group today. When they come, I saw a bunch of them, as I told you. Coach, we're supporting you. No, okay, they are. But they're also supporting as I said before, the Permian program. And to think that after all these years, like I said, we're talking decades ago, that they care enough about me, and mostly about the program. As one guy said to me today, Coach, we're standing on the broad shoulders of the teams that played before us. And I thought that was a great way to put it. Great. Let me stretch out one other little thing about Permian football. From 1965 to 1995, that's 31 seasons. 31 seasons from 1965 to 1995. And I'm going to borrow some basketball lingo here, and media lingo, as far as how people talk about it. We call it the semifinals, but what it amounts to is the Final Four. The Final Four. When you get to the Final Four, the basketball people, of course, they hang banners from the rafters, and they should. I mean, you think about it. The number of schools in the state of Texas are in the classification. I mean, you reach the Final Four, you've had a great, great season. You want to win them all, but sometimes you don't. You get beat in the Final Four. From 1965 through 95, 31 seasons, Permian was in the Final Four 15 times. 15 of the 30. So almost every other year, Permian football was in the Final Four. We played for 11 state championships, and we got 6 state championship trophies. And then the last group I want to quickly, and I know I've run over, I will quickly introduce, is I want all Permian graduates, and most of them are going to be female. Most of them are going to be female. They're not already standing. And there are a number of them because these players, they knew a good thing, and they married a lot of Permian girls. So I'd like for all the Permian graduates, no matter what year, please stand. Come on, girls, come on. Yeah, there's several right over there. So I'll conclude this. It's been an honor and a privilege, as I said. It really has. You know, as I said, 4th quarter of my life, clock is ticking, I'm out of timeouts, and I'm out of time tonight. But I thank the committee again. I think everybody had something to do with this. And all I can say is God bless everyone, and God bless America. Good night.
We have one inductee left to be enshrined into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. This is the Dave Campbell Contributor to the Game category of our enshrinement class of 2024. And this year's Dave Campbell contributor of the game is Coach Robert Brown. Now, Coach Brown is a life member of the Texas High School Coaches Association, became chairman of the Prairie View Interscholastic League Coaches Association in 2004. And at that time, he had a vision not only to induct coaches, but outstanding PVIL high school athletes as well. He also initiated the PVIL Coaches Association to give scholarships to high school athletes. Coach Brown had a vision to educate the public about the Prairie View Interscholastic League and the vast contributions it made and has made to the game of Texas high school football. He collected memorabilia and artifacts pertaining to the years of the PVIL existence, with honoring former athletes and coaches and their outstanding accomplishments. The University of Texas housed the PVIL memorabilia at the Marvin C. Griffith Building in Austin from 2010 to 2017. Coach Brown began a 40-year teaching and coaching career in 1963 with the Houston Independent School District. In 1968, at the age of 28, he became the youngest HISD 4A high school head coach at MC Williams High School. He coached basketball, track, and baseball at several high schools in the HISD, including at Jefferson Davis, Ross Sterling, and Robert E. Lee. Following his retirement in 2002, he continued to coach basketball for AAU teams and private schools in the Houston area. And Coach Brown continues to encourage young coaches and athletes to recognize the impact and the importance of those who paved the way for the current generation of African American players and coaches. It is a vast undertaking that he has so expertly handled through all of these years. So please give a warm welcome as we induct into the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, Robert Lee Brown.
You won't have to worry about being here too long. Look, I think I sit in the chair, and my wife said, "Don't be long." I said, "I won't be long." I got a little dizzy for a few moments ago. But you know, life is like a yo-yo, up and down. And this is what I've taught my athletes, and this is what I preach with the PVILCA. And you wonder and say, why am I here? If you're black, you understand that you don't have much legacy because most of that has been torn up or thrown away. And we're trying to save all of the artifacts, the newspaper articles, jerseys from different schools. If I call out some names like Bubba Smith, Ernie Ladd, Kenny Houston, they all came from the PVIL. Now, if I call out Robert Brown, would you recognize that? And I was amazed. Chris asked me to be interviewed. I went to his room this morning, and he pulled out his telephone. He said, "Look, I have an AI here. I'm going to ask who Robert Brown is." I really thought they were talking about Robert Browning, not Robert Brown. But hey, AI is such a vast instrument that you can use. If I turn around and looked at my wife for a few moments, she would say, "Stay on the subject. Stay on the subject." Prairie View Interscholastic League was synonymously with the UIL, University and Scholastic League. And this is what we preach. At one time, Texas was segregated. From 1920 to 1970, we were under the Prairie View Interscholastic League. And all of the functions, academic, sports, music, all of that was held at Prairie View. While on the other hand, the whites would have theirs at University of Texas, UIL, University Interscholastic League. In 1970, it was taken, Prairie View Interscholastic League was taken over by the UIL. However, in the small areas, the rural areas, they couldn't build a school fast enough. So segregation lasted almost until 1972, or the end of 71. And I hope that you can understand the vastness of what happened back then. My wife has really been diligent with me. She let me use the 3 bedrooms upstairs and put all of the memorabilia since we lost our place at University of Texas. And people have to understand, when a new chancellor comes in, they clean house a little bit. So we had to move, and I was so proud of those people. We did not lose 1 ounce, 1 stitch of our legacy while it was in Austin. We packed up more than 600 items. Those 600 items happen to be at my house now, in the upstairs in the 3 bedrooms, until we can get a place to put it. Oh my goodness, and this is beautiful right here. This would be nice. I've been married for 60 years. It doesn't seem like it. But this young lady over here, I have 2 young ladies in my house. Well, one has her own house, my daughter, and my wife is with me. But they are so bashful. They don't want to be recognized. But my fellows, Rob, could you stand? Brian, could you stand? Okay, thank you. It doesn't take a Phi Beta Kappa to figure out some of the things that need to be done. And one of the things was to get a board, okay? I have 4 members. Would you please stand, okay? Board members, PVILCA board members, okay? Thank you. Sometimes we have acronyms. PhD. Does anybody that know what PhD stands for? Scott, do you know what PhD stands for? Pride, hustle, and desire. That's your PhD. You might not go to college, but in life, you're gonna have that pride, you're gonna have that hustle, and you're gonna have that desire. And that's what we've taught. And for 40 years, I did that. And even after my retirement, I spent another year, 2 years, with the AAU and St. Thomas High School. I had the 9th graders, and my daughter came over to see us play. And she said, Dad, I said, what's the matter, baby? She said, you know what? You got those white boys playing like black boys. They so fast and they hustle and they get down the floor. I said, it's just the way you coach them, that's all. Sometimes the race isn't given to the swiftest. but he or she that endure all of the manure along the way. Thank you, and I really appreciate all of the kindness that has been given and bestowed upon me.
How about one more round of applause for the class of 2024? We would like to thank Jostens for the 2024 Hall of Fame rings that our new enshrinement class was given, presented to each inductee. We'd also like to thank Jostens for their support of Texas high school football. Jostens rings have been the only rings presented to our inductees for over 25 years. Thank you, Jostens. All right, let's sell some footballs for a very worthy cause. The continuing mission of the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame, the silent auction and the autographed football auction are only two ways, the only two ways for the High School Football Hall of Fame to raise money. So please look on your table for a white card and you can make your bid for one of the 10 autographed footballs. Here to expertly handle it as he always does, our auctioneer, Texas High School Football Hall of Fame board member and Vice President Kevin Johnson.
All right, good evening, everyone. First off, I want to congratulate the state championship coaches and then all of our inductees. Hope you've had an amazing evening tonight. This is always a special time every year that we get to provide this banquet. As you can see, or as you've heard tonight, you can learn a lot of Texas high school football history here. So, to give you an opportunity to have a piece of Texas high school football history, we have 15 of these autographed balls that each of the inductees signed tonight. So there's only 15 of these, and this will be the only year that you'll be able to get these, okay? So on your table, as Craig said, there's a little white card. If you are interested in possibly purchasing one of these footballs, then you need to write a bid on there. Now we would ask that you be as generous as you possibly can. As Craig said, we try to maintain the exhibit there, handle this banquet, so the things we get from the silent auction and from the autographed footballs are just the way that we are able to fund this in here. So be as generous as you can. Once you write down, we will take the top 15 bids. Once you have that written down, if you'll hold your card up, some of our board members will make their way around, collect those, and then we'll grab the top 15. I'll come back up there and announce those in just a little while. Thank you.
All right, it's time now to announce our silent auction winners. And for that, we'll call upon Texas High School Football Hall of Fame board member, Mr. Doug Dixon, for the silent auction winners.
Hope everyone had a great night. On behalf of the board, thank you for taking part in the silent auction. I have a list of names here. When I read your name, if you'll just walk over there, there's a table set up. That means you had the winning bid on one of the items, and you can pick your item up and we'll take your money. But thank you all for being here. The names are Randy Allen, Laura Quisenberry, Maddie Buchanan, Scott Drillette, Scott Fielder, Karen McCourt Crane, Hervey Pledger, Stephanie Gilroy, G.T. Morton, Scott Drillette, Greg Tepper, Matthew Wilkins, Alan Metzel, Mike Anderson, Al Acock, Jim Yankee, Ryan Brown, Rhonda Veffrey, and Don Sims. Thank you all very much. I hope I didn't butcher your name. Thank you.
Well done, folks. You know, an event like this really just wouldn't be possible without the help and support of many people. Obviously, thanks to all of our inductees. Thanks as well to our Gordon Wood Trophy winner, Oglesby High School, our Tom Landry Award winner, Coach Randy Allen, and a special acknowledgement to the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame board members. Would the board members please stand and be recognized for all the work you do? Now, also, the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame board of directors have a special presentation, and we'll ask board member Doug Furch to come up, and at this time, the High School Football Hall of Fame would like to recognize two gentlemen who can best be described as visionaries for what they do. You met one of those visionaries earlier, and that's, of course, Coach Joe Martin and the Texas High School Coaches Association, which is always encouraging young people and athletes to recognize the impact and the importance of those who paved the way for the current generation as well, all the years that they have been the support of Texas High School Football Hall of Fame. And without the support of this great organization, we'd not be able to honor our state championship coaches and the Tom Landry Award. The other visionary is Adam Hochfelder, Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine, and you see with our live stream event tonight, you know, each year, Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine, which has always been a great supporter of the Hall of Fame and the banquet, prints the program that you have on your table at no expense to the Hall of Fame. They find sponsors to donate the footballs and are autographed by the inductees. And last but not least, Adam and his team, Dave Campbell's Texan Live, is live streaming the event tonight. So Joe Martin and Adam Hochfelder, please come on up.
Okay, well, I found out about 8 seconds ago I'm saying something, so I want to thank everybody here. I want to thank my team that's over there, Aaron Hardigan, Greg Tepper, Mallory Hartley, Ashley Pickle, who worked tirelessly. Ashley and Mallory have been here since Wednesday for a few things, so thank you very much. I didn't really know I was going to say anything, so have a safe evening and drive safe home.
Craig, I appreciate that. The Hall of Fame group and board members, thank you guys very much. This is something that we support every day very strongly. Appreciate the celebration of our coaches and our athletes and the Tom Landry Award and just the opportunity to be a part of it. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. You guys have a safe trip home tonight.
Thank you, gentlemen. Also, special thanks, as we mentioned, to Johnston's for the Hall of Fame rings, the watches, the Tom Landry plaque. A very special thank you to the Texas Farm Bureau Insurance for everything they do to support the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame as well. Thanks to Dr. Charles Broddup, Dr. Jamie Harrison, UIO Athletic Director Ray Cepeda, and their staff at the University Interscholastic League. Thanks to Georges for the outstanding meal we had tonight. Thank you, Georges. Big thank you to Dave Campbell's Texan Live for live streaming. Special thanks to Steve Slate of Captured Keepsakes for taking the Hall of Fame portraits. One more time, Kevin Johnson will rejoin us for the autographed football auction results.
All right, these will be our winners tonight, okay? And then you'll be able to pick these up on the way out over there by the silent auction where you're picking up any of those items. It'll be right over there on your way out. We have Ryan Brown, Hervey Pledger, Kathy Morton, Bobby Knott, Jet Wilkins, John Weaver, John Wilkins Jr., Cammie Ferris, Ray Cepeda, and Rebecca Buchanan. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for that. And again, you'll be able to pick those up right over there.
Thank you, Kevin. Thanks again to Mike Anderson and Tiffany Wilkins for their tireless efforts to make this evening so special. You make it special. We thank you for being here. We congratulate the brand new class of 2024. We'll see you in 2025. Congratulations. Thank you and good night.